So, good evening to one and all. I, Sanklecha, would like to welcome you all on the behalf of Academic Department, Gymkhana, SET GS Medical College. So, today we are having a session on dealing with biochemistry and how to write the theory paper. So, the flow of the session is first we will have a motivation talk by Rohit Junare, then MCQs and BAQs will be dealt by Paras Arora, SAQs and ATCOM will be dealt by Prashant Saraf, LAQs by Siddhant Kamble, and things not to forget in MBBS will be dealt by Raghav. And then we will have the question answer session. So I would like to invite Rohit Zunare to speak on something about motivation. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So, hello guys. Good evening, everyone. I am Rohit Sopan Zundare, second first MBBS, SET GSMC and KMH, and I'm here to talk upon motivation in MBS. It is rarely we found any motivation in MBS, but let's see how we can have it. Next slide. I like to start with a quote that you must tell yourself, no matter how hard it is or how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. You must remember till the end. Next. So there are many problems which we face in first MBBS. Even I too face lots of problem in the last pandemic. One of the main problem were that a single notification of on mobile will destroy your whole study mood, which is shown in the first image. Then next problem which we everyone faces that we don't have any mood or we don't have any willingness to join online lectures. Then we supposed to do like that, which is Jose Mourinho doing it. But to be honest, we should not do that. We should attend the lecture. Next. The big question arises in MBBS that we have a lot of burden to study, like so much books, information overload, insomniac nights. So is MBBS either to study only or at least we can have some of enjoyment? So the answer of this we'll get in upcoming slides. Next. And here are the many more problems like social media, then till night on mobile only, information overload, exam stress, then sleeping at time of studying, and there are many more problems. But let's see what's the solution for it. Next. So sometimes what a person need is just one piece of solution. For only one single solution, there are lots of problem. For any one problem, there are lots of solution. But what a person sees is just a problem. They won't able to find a solution. But let's see. But we'll see how we get the solution. Next. So what is key to the solution? Next. First of all, I would like to say that be optimistic. Being optimistic is just a positive approach towards anything or giving another perspective to solve the problem. Like in the second image, we can see that a person says that the glass is half filled, the glass is half empty. But most change in perspective is that glass is refillable. So if we combine the optimism with the reality, it is a great way to look at life. So how we can be optimistic? So first of all, decide to be happy. Now, if you think that I'm going to happy, you will be happy. And next is expect the best. This point connects the rest of the point. Let's see how. If you give your best, then you will previous slide, please. So if you give your best, then how it helps us. See, if you are thinking that you are giving your best, then you look for a silver lining. That is a reward. If you look for a silver lining, then you trust the universe. Trust the universe means you trust the process. You say whatever I am doing is going to best because I'm hoping for a good reward for it. Then while in trusting the process, you celebrate the life. You celebrate each and every point of the life where you are. You try to have fun. You try to enjoy it, and you take it in a positive way. Positive way. It helps to make a new perspective. And at the end of the day, you say that that I made my day count. So in this process, you begin to encourage yourself. You appreciate yourself. So being optimistic is a good solution. Next. Next slide, please. So now the time management. Time management is what I feel that everyone in the MBBS should do the time management. There are the 7 key points where the time management is done. I like to deal this with an example. Like when we had a notice of MHS exam in September, 2 months before the final exam, I was near about the 0% of study. Like I haven't read lots of topic as compared to others, but I have a good mindset that if I am being optimistic and if I have done lot of good time management, then I am able to cope up with the exams. So first point is set goals correctly. As I haven't done a good study, so I set up that I should be at least passing the exam. So I set up the goal that yes, I want to pass the exam. Second, prioritize wisely. In the priorities wisely, main thing is that when you try to prioritize the work, prioritize which is most need of the point. Like at that time I want to prioritize that study is lot important for me. Other than study, nothing is priority, because 2 months exam is there and I haven't prepared it well. Next, set the time limit and balance the subject. How it is to be done? See, for each and every topic, you should have a time limit for it. Like if you are studying anatomy, then you should say that in whole 100% of it, I should give 33% to anatomy, 33% to physiology, 33% to biochemistry. Then, if you think that anatomy is lot quite hard, it is lot tough. That how can I get more marks in anatomy? But let me tell you guys that every subject has equal mark weightage. It is like if you only study anatomy, you will fail in MUHS. But if you study all three subjects evenly, it's better chance to pass the MUHS. So study, give weightage to each and every subject of it. Like as I said, balancing of it how? Like anatomy is all about imagination and drawing the diagrams. A single drawing of a diagram can explain lot than writing up theory. So if you had a good drawing practice, then you will be able to imagine it well. Like, and also in physiology, understanding concept, if you understand the concept, it will be good for you. Then in biochemistry, most of the part is in cycles only. So for the cycles, I would like to suggest, if you write the cycle 2-3 times, you'll be able to get whole the cycle. So set a time limit and balance each and every subject. Next, take the breaks between the tasks. See, as you have studied in skeletal muscle chapter, that if you take a regular interval break after a certain amount of work done, then the total amount of work done is highest in that case. So if you have done the study for a amount of if a minimum amount of time, that is 3 hours, then you should take break. In that break, what should you do? You should organize yourself. You should be doing what is helpful for you. That is recreation. In recreation, what you can do? You can sing the song, you can dance, or whatever you feel like. You can organize yourself in that. Next point is remove the non-essential tasks. Till the September, I used to have the screen time of 14 to 15 hours, to be honest. But at that time, while interacting with my batchmates, with my seniors, with my teachers, they used to guide me that you should reduce the time. So I from that 14 to 15 hours, I reduced my screen time to 6 to 7 hours, which was really boosting me up. So I removed the non-essential tasks. I used to play a lot of FIFA. So at that time, I prioritized myself that study is more important now rather than the FIFA. So I give main importance to the study. Then next point is plan ahead. What is plan ahead? I like to say that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But if you success to plan, you plan to success. So first step of success is the good plan. If you had a good plan, you will be able to success a lot. And prioritization is lot important at any point of time in MBBS. Next. Next slide, please. Interaction is what main thing which I observe in your batch, that your batch doesn't seems to be a lot interactive. Like our batch too has A batch and B batch, still we have good interaction among our friends. But whatever I observe, or whatever everyone is observing, that interaction is less, which will harm you, because inter batch interaction like A batch B batch interaction will help you to explore the new ideas, will help you to come up the various problems. You can come up the various new idea which we will be able to learn it. It will help in development of skill. So for that, our inter-batch interaction should be more. Then next thing is senior junior interaction. As you all know that GS is free of ragging, you are free to approach the seniors, because at the time of MUHS, seniors and teachers are only having the experience of what is to be done in MUHS, not your batchmates. So interacting with your seniors will help you a lot in many ways. They will be telling you small things which will able to make a good MBBS life. And next is student teacher interaction. As you all know that teachers have vast experience, they will help you. Like at my time, I used to keep in touch with many more teachers like Dr. Vivek sir, Dr. Rashmi ma'am, Dr. Isha ma'am, Dr. Mega ma'am, Dr. Trupti ma'am. They used to guide me at every point of time. Like I used to ask them silly question that ये exam postponed होंगे कि नहीं, exam hoga ki nahi. I used to ask them such questions, but they always try to guide me in a good way. They used to say me that you are prioritizing everything, you are doing good time management, it will help you to pass the exam. So they used to guide me. So student teacher interaction is also more. So I like to say to your guys that keep interacting with everyone, not with just a particular set of people, but everyone is there to help you. So increase your interaction. Next slide. Now, as you know what life is all about, morning wake up, exercise, study, work, eat healthy, enjoy, sleep, repeat. This is only the thing what everyone does. What is the difference between what one who success and one who doesn't is that they repeat the process. They repeat it many times that it becomes habit and it leads to their success. While the one who doesn't get success is like, यार चल छोड़ देते, एक ही बार किया, खत्म हुआ, बहुत बोर हुआ, चलो छोड़ देते. But it's not like that. You have to repeat the cycle, and it is life cycle, guys. So if you repeat it, you will be able to master the life at any point of time, and enjoying the life is lot big important. Next slide. Now I like to cover these points with one of the example, like when our second PCT was there, our topic was there, but at that time I neglected the topic in saying that अरे ये तो MUHS में आता नहीं, इसका तो IMP भी नहीं है, तो इसको पढ़ के क्या फायदा. But I didn't paid respect to that topic at that moment. But in the Viva of MUHS, in hard parts, they asked me what is this. I was completely blank. I was shocked that the topic which I haven't paid the respect came now. So respect each and every topic. But I didn't press the panic button in that I haven't done study. What should I do? I know that I haven't studied that. Okay, fine. But I have studied lots of topics around it. So I try to connect each and every dot so that I kept faith in myself. I kept my mind cool and calm so that I was able to give the answer. How this happened? With a right attitude. If you have right attitude and a positive approach, you can win anything. So respect, faith, calm, and attitude comes in a single process where you have to get it with it. Next point is inspiration and motivation. Like I like to say that motivation is just chingari and inspiration is aag. As it is truly said that एक चिंगारी काफी है आग लगाने को. Same with here. Everyone is there to motivate you. Motivation की life ज्यादा से ज्यादा 6 दिन 7 दिन होती है. उसके बाद motivation चला जाने के बाद कुछ नहीं होता. But inspiration एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपको end तक रहती है. Like इंस्पिरेशन तो आप सब लोगों ने नीट के टाइम कर चुके हो कि बहुत इंस्पायर हुए थे इसलिए तो नीट क्रैक कर पाए ना. वही इंस्पिरेशन अगर आपने जितना नीट के लिए प्लान आउट किया था उसका अगर आप 30 to 40% भी देना, आपका एमबीबीएस लाइफ और जो प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं उसको सॉल्व करने के तरीके बहुत अच्छे से चेंज हो जाएंगे. सो इंस्पिरेशन आने वाला एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. सो आई लाइक टू से दैट MBBS is all about study and enjoyment. If you try to see the good perspective of it, whether it may be anything, so you can enjoy it both the times. Like I like to say that in our postings we used to have case based studies, so case history taking. At that time I used to we all used to take the case in a good way, that we enjoyed it also and we studied it also. So it doesn't mean that in MBBS only study is to be there. You can enjoy each and every point of it. Next slide. So your journey is all about the past, now future. How? In the past you used to say that मुझे नीट क्रैक करना है, मुझे MBBS में सीट लानी है, मुझे इस कॉलेज में जाना है, मुझे इतने मार्क्स आने चाहिए. Your past was all about मुझे मुझे मुझे. But MBBS is something what it is we, हम, our duty. So if you had a good communication among yourself, then you will be able to climb a ladder of success. Some of you might be thinking that अरे चलो नीट पास कर गए, KM में नंबर लग गया, अभी तो क्या लाइफ सेट है. But let me tell you guys, you are at the bottom of that ladder. Success तो अभी बहुत ऊपर है. उसके लिए जाने तक आपको ऑप्टिमिस्टिक बनना पड़ेगा, टाइम मैनेजमेंट करने पड़ेगा, इंटरेक्शंस बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे सबके साथ, आपको हर एक चीज का एनालिसिस करके आगे बढ़ना है और आपको प्रोसेस को एंजॉय करना है. दिस इज व्हाट इज योर नाउ एंड फ्यूचर. इसके लिए आप टेंशन मत करो. कॉलेज में हम सब लोग इतने अच्छे से प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं कि एज सीनियर वी लाइक टू लेट योर life get enjoyed in MBBS. As I am Avishkar coordinator, I can assure you that lots of things are being planned for you. But due to pandemic, we too also have limit. But we will try best to give you as much as you want. Next slide. So work for cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Like I would like to say, if you work for cause, everyone will applaud you. If you live life to express, everyone will be impressed. See the change in the perspective which everyone should see. Now, as it's part of motivation, recently I written a poem for the first time, so I like to tell that. रास्ते में रुकावटें बहुत है, हर पल एक नई कहानी है, बस मंजिल को जीतने का है जज्बा, जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा। कोई आके रुकाए तुझे, कोई तुझे रोकने के लिए झुके तेरे सामने, ना करना कभी मोह इनका, जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा। हर सफर में रहेंगे तेरे साथ, बिना डरे तू चल आगे हमारे साथ। गिरते तो सब है पर गिर के उठना है तुझे, मंजिल दूर नहीं जाना, जीत के आना तुझे। जीतने के बाद कभी घमंड ना करना, जो छोड़ आया पीछे कभी भूल मत जाना। फैमिली यारी दोस्ती हमेशा याद रखना, क्योंकि जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा। देंगे सब तुझे शाबाशिया, घमंड न करना तू कभी उसका, ले उस चीज का जज्बा जुनून दिमाग में, जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा, जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा, जीत के आना लक्ष्य तेरा। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. So at the end, I would like to say it depends on you how you approach it. It depends on you how you see it. It depends on you how you solve every problem. Like प्रॉब्लम ऐसा नहीं कि यार मुझे सब प्रॉब्लम है, बाकी किसी को नहीं. प्रॉब्लम हर एक व्यक्ति को आती है, बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट यू हैव टू डील एवरी सिचुएशन वाइजली, करेक्टली. अच्छा पर्सपेक्टिव रखे तो हो सकता है, और ये सब आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. सो लाइक टू एंड विद दैट, यू आर एबल टू डू एनीथिंग. As you are baby JSat, your blood of fighting everything at every time. So you should keep fighting for the best, and you will do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for motivating us. And we very well understood the importance of time management and why interaction is required. And we will keep on motivating each others. And so now that we are all are motivated, I would like to draw your attention to an important aspect of the question paper, the different verbs which are asked in question paper. So basically, question framing is an art, and the examiner, while question framing, wants to assess different parts of your knowledge and skills. So basically, firstly, to check your knowledge, they ask the questions in which the verbs such as define, draw, find, enumerate, write a note on are asked. So you need to understand these terms very well. So when they ask define, you just need to write the definition of that term, and they are not asking you to describe it or to explain it. So what they find in definitions is the important words and their sequence. So similarly, when they try to describe, you need to elaborate and explain what is given in the definition or like that, and what meaning you have understood. So this is first type, which takes your knowledge. Secondly, they ask comprehension based question, means they want to understand what you have understood from that topic. So ask for this question, they put the terms such as describe, estimate, identify, or summarize. So basically, when you are writing the answer, you need to keep into mind that how will the examiner understand that you have understood the topic. Okay. So after that, thirdly, there are application based questions. So in these questions, you are asked to write the application. So in this, you have applied anatomy, applied physiology, and applied biochemistry. So you need to write the different applications, and while writing them, you need to keep into mind these terms. And fourth type is the analytical based question, such as differentiation, distinguish, classify. So these type of question check your analytical knowledge, and in this, writing flowcharts or drawing in a tabulated structure is very important. And synthesis type of question are not really asked in first year, but and evaluation based are not asked. I have taken this table from the NMC PDF, which has been given in the NMC website. So please keep this in mind. And now I would like to move forward to MCQs and BAQs, and would like to invite Paras Arora to explain the same. Thank you.
Thanks, Salil.
Yes,
Yeah,
Paras,
now let's
you are audible.
session. Yeah, okay. So let's start with a session of biochemistry. So yeah, like मेरे को बहुत लोगों ने मैसेज किया था कि how to study biochem, इतने charts इतने वो सब रटते नहीं बनता. So how to deal with it? It's not a piece of cake, obviously. So we will like MCQs, BAQs, SAQs ये सब करने के लिए we are there. I'll be dealing with MCQs and BAQs, and my other friends will be dealing with the SAQs and the LAQs as well as the HCOM. So let's start. Next, please. So what are MCQs? There will be 4 options, 1 correct, and there will be 1 mark. There's no negative marking. 30 minutes will be given to solve 20 MCQs. And so remember, you have to since there's no negative marking, attempt all questions. Next. There can be of 3 types, factual, conceptual, and the ones whose answer you don't know. Next. So first we'll see what a factual MCQ can be like. In congenital erythropoietic porphyria, the enzyme deficient is. So obviously, जिसने पढ़ा होगा उसको याद होगा answer. So these are factual. So fact है तो इसलिए ये answer है. You cannot you know what it's not conceptual based. Next. Then there is conceptual type of MCQ. In this, this is a condition where there is prolactinemia, there is PKU, there is low homovanillic acid and low serotonin, and they have asked the enzyme deficient. So now you can think that there is prolactinemia. What can cause prolactinemia? That dopamine is less, therefore there is prolactinemia. First is this, so low dopamine. Second, they have given PKU. So PKU can be caused by different, there are 5 types, right? So PKU can be caused by different enzyme deficiency. And there's low homovanillic acid and low serotonin. So we can see that both tyrosine as well as tryptophan mechanisms are defective. So we have to eliminate the options such that we can satisfy both the criteria, the tryptophan as well as tyrosine. So in cases like A, B, and C, we can see that it's like individual. It's either tyrosine or only tryptophan. So option D, that is dihydrobiopterin reductase. So this is the cofactor which is required in both the cases for tetrahydrobiopterin production. Therefore, this is the answer. So this was the concept behind the MCQ. So you need to understand the concept and then mark the answer. So this is an extra info. Like this question is malignant PK. You can search about it. And if you have any doubts, you can ask in the academic club group. So yeah, next please. Now the ones which you don't have any answer. So here you can you can do eliminate the options by thinking कि ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता. So because you don't have any option अभी, ये नहीं आता ही नहीं अभी क्या करें. So इसलिए in this question, keratin sulfate contains. You know that keratin sulfate does not contain uronic acid. So A or B option to gaya. Now you are left with C and D. So now you have 50% chances of getting it correct. It can either be N-acetyl galactosamine or it can be N-acetyl glucosamine. So accordingly, you can give it a chance. Obviously, you won't mark A and B. So तुम्हारे chances बढ़ गए that you have more chances getting it right. Next, please. So yeah, so what you have to remember is that always attempt the MCQ. Because there's no negative marking and you have 25% of chances of getting it correct. And you will be given 30 minutes, which is more than enough. तुम लोगों ने नीट दिया, तुम लोगों को पता ही है कितना है, कितने क्वेश्चंस किए इतने 3 घंटे में. So obviously ये तो बहुत easy हो गया तुम लोगों के लिए. And double check your answers before marking. And yeah, obviously before marking you have to check, but to note that you have online exams ना अभी May end of May. So they will give you a Google form. उसमें they'll have the options and all पूरा, and you have solved the Google form, right? Quizathon में. So वैसा ही same रहेगा. And they will give you 20 questions and 30 minutes. So be very careful while marking and check twice before submitting the Google form. Okay, now next. Now BAQs. So we are done with MCQs. Now BAQs. It's a 2-mark question, and there will be 10 questions. They'll ask either enumerate, list, name. I guess Salil has already mentioned about these terms, so I don't need to explain any. And they won't ask about describe, explain, extra diagram, or you won't need to draw flowchart or something, because it's of 2 marks. It's of no use अगर तुम बड़ा लिखते रहोगे. The teacher won't even read. उनको पता तुमको आता है 2 marks के लिए क्या लिखा है ऐसा. Next. So this is an example. Name any two proteins with quaternary structure along with their subunits. So I've taken hemoglobin and immunoglobulin with their structures. So you have to start with like proteins with quaternary structures R, and then first point, second point, give the subunits as well. And you can add other examples also, like for जो लोग को top एकदम करना होता है ना, वैसे लोग थोड़ा extra थोड़ा डाल सकते हो बीच बीच में, but only if you have time. So this is the question that name any two proteins. So I've written hemoglobin, two alpha chains, two beta chains, forming the globin component, and immunoglobulin, two heavy and two light chains. Next. So this is another question where the question says that mention biologically important compounds synthesized by glycine. So now everyone has read glycine. बहुत सारे compounds बनते हैं. You can see creatine phosphate, heme, purine, glutathione, hippuric acid, collagen, sarcosine, betaine. Obviously इतना सबको याद नहीं रहेगा कि सब लिखो. You can write 3, 4. Actually 4 तो लिखो ही लिखो, because 2 marks is half each. They'll think that half each. So at least write 4, and you can add the constituents like arginine, glycine, and SAM for SAM for creatine phosphate. Then heme का succinyl CoA plus A. So you can write in bracket कि किससे बना है वो, so that it becomes like more कि how you know how it forms. Purine, glutathione, and all. So this was for glycine, and obviously start with the biologically important compound synthesized by glycine. So you have to make it an answer. ऐसे बस points मत लिख दो. You have to start with the biologically important compounds are synthesized by glycine are. ऐसे लिखो. It will be more of a structured answer rather than just pointers. You have to showcase also. मेरी handwriting बहुत खराब थी, इसलिए problem बहुत होती थी. So you have to make a structured answer so that the teacher likes when she or he reads the answer. Okay, next. So these are some other questions. I have not given the answer, but you can search it if you want. It's simple question. Give the chemical composition of hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfate. Now give reason why excessive ingestion of alcohol results in hypoglycemia. Enumerate 4 enzymes of diagnostic importance for liver function. Then explain. So here you can see they have asked explain and not enumerate list or something. They have asked explain. So the question is that explain the underlying mechanism of microcytic normochromic anemia and copper deficiency. So the question as like the answer to this question is not so big. So that's why they've mentioned here explain and not enumerate or something else. So copper deficiency, 2 or 3 reasons डाल दो. पहला reason वो ALA's the enzyme ALA synthase, as well as so copper is required for that enzyme, as well as that for iron absorption. So 2 reasons you can mention here, so that you can like completely say the mechanism, and therefore they have given explain and not like pura a keyword enumerate or something else. Now the fifth question is name 4 inhibitors of complex 2 of ETC. So this question was asked in our paper, like the MUHS 2020. So we weren't able to answer. Like हम लोग किसी को नहीं आता था. We still know only 3. We don't know the 4th one. So this is your work to find out all the 4 inhibitors, because they can ask you in your theory this time, I guess. Because है ना तुम लोगों को citric acid और by क्या दूसरा कौन सा chapter है. So yeah, they can ask this question. So please इसका answer ढूंढ के रखो. Next, please. Now points to remember. Give maximum 30 minutes, because 10 questions if you don't like, if you give more time over here, then you won't be able to complete your paper. BAQs के बाद FAQs और LAQs बहुत लंबा जाता time. So don't give more than 30 minutes. Or if you want to give, then give maximum 40. ज़्यादा उससे तो मत दो. And don't exceed more than half a page. अगर तुम पूरा महाभारत लिखोगे कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा, टीचर को मन नहीं है, 2 मार्क्स इतना कौन पढ़ेगा और लिखेगा. मतलब ये सोच के मैम वोंट रीड ओनली. तो तुमने लिखा है मेन पॉइंट्स, वो उतना ही लिखना है, 2 मार्क्स का है. And stick with the question. Give extra info only if you have time, preferably after you have completed the paper. So paper खत्म कर लिया, जिसको और थोड़ा लिखना, थोड़ा बहुत ऐसे pointers डाल दो कि हाँ you know this point and you want to show the examiner that you know कि ये आता है मुझे और ये भी पता है extra. So थोड़ा बहुत डाल सकते हो, but it's only if you have time. Next. So these are the books which you can refer for MCQs as well as BAQs. So Vasudevan is the best. इसमें सब चीजें हैं, MCQs as well as BAQs. BAQs they have given as Viva was questions feature एकदम last में end of the chapter. And Rebecca James, obviously, MCQs and quiz level today. So you can do Rebecca and Vasudevan. Then Satyanarayan is good. It's nice, concise, and it's good for exams. But I'd like to say that stick with one book only. Don't go like, हाँ वासुदेवन पढ़ना, सत्यनारायण पढ़ना, रेबिका भी पढ़ना, सब नहीं होने वाला. एक साथ अभी करने जाओ कुछ नहीं होगा. अभी सिर्फ एक बुक पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो, या फिर खाली वासुदेवन पढ़ो या फिर खाली सत्यनारायण पढ़ो. रेबिका जेम्स इज फॉर रेफरेंस. यू डोंट हैव टू रीड ऐसा पूरा रट के उसको. पहले वासुदेवन या सत्यनारायण से कोई एक बुक खत्म करो, उसके बाद you can refer. But MCQs BAQ solve करना तो you can obviously solve these questions from these. You can download the PDF also. So yeah, this is a meme that if you study, you cry while reading biochem. But you have to remember that if you cry 5 times, when you read the 6th time, you'll get it. It's volatile. I understand the subject is volatile. But only if you read it again and again, you'll understand that you know the concept. Once you know the concept, then you'll get it. फिर वो कितना भी volatile होगा सब याद हो जाएगा. मेरा खुद का सीन ऐसा ही था. फर्स्ट इंटरनल्स में I got around 50s only. बट देन मेरे से हो नहीं रहा था. फिर लास्ट में यूनिवर्सिटी का आते थे 91 आया आउट ऑफ 100. सो इट वाज अ गुड लीप ना. तो देख सकते हो आप कि वो पढ़ते पढ़ते आ जाता है. स्टार्टिंग में नहीं आया कोई बात नहीं. लोगों से कंपेयर मत करो. डोंट कंपेयर योरसेल्फ विद अदर्स. जितना आ रहा है आने दो. हम लोग को खुद का देखना है. ओके सो थैंक यू. दैट्स फ्रॉम माय साइड. We'll continue with FAQs.
Thank you, Paras. We very well understood that elimination is the key for the MCQs whose answer we don't know, and for BAQs writing specific and structured answer is important. I would like to add that for MCQs you need to know the important enzymes which can be asked, and for BAQs you need to know at least 4 examples where more than 4 examples are given in the textbook. With this, I would like to invite Prashant to talk about SAQs and the clinical cases and AdCom.
Thank you, Salil. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible, Prashant.
Okay. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. So the basics of SAQs, like there are 8 questions, 5 marks each, and you have to solve within 70 to 80 minutes. These all topics, these have been discussed in the anatomy as well as physiology section. So I will directly go to what is relevant in the SAQ part of biochemistry. The second point states give headings, introduction, then write about the topic that is asked, draw a diagram or a cycle, and then write the applied points. So these headings, you have to use them when the question is not structured. We will see in the next slide what is structured and what is not structured. But when the question is not structured, you have to use these headings. And always when you are writing, write point wise. Never write in a paragraph, and write in the flow charts. Give arrows between the points. And the special tip for biochemistry is that utilize the time of easy and point-wise questions in the describe type. Now you understand what the term describe means, and LAQs. Okay, so next slide, please. Let's discuss some previous year questions. First question, define clearance, enumerate renal clearance tests, explain role of cystatin C as glomerular filtration mark. Now I want you to understand that this is a typical example of structured question. One definition is asked, it will carry 1 mark. Enumerate renal clearance test is asked, it will carry 2 marks. And explain the role of cystatin C, it will again carry 1 mark. It will again carry 2 marks. So it is a structured question. You have to just write what is asked and save time here to solve the questions which are of describe type. Similarly, the second question, describe sickle cell anemia under the given heads. The heads are given molecular basis 1 mark, clinical features 3 marks, and lab investigations 1 mark. Again, you have to write point wise, and it is done. Now the problem comes where the question is describe the cells of immune system or inhibitors and uncouplers of ETC or the electron transport chain. Here you have to understand that you can write innumerable points. You can even write an LAQ for these types of questions. And these are the questions that were asked in our paper in 2020. So we were confused, like how to limit or how to answer. Now you have to remember these are SAQs. So at this point, you have to remember those headings like first introduction, then write about the topic, then draw a diagram, and then fourth applied points. So this will help you in solving such types of questions. Okay, next slide please. Coming to clinical cases, in biochemistry specifically, these were asked even before the CBME curriculum. So what has changed now? The depth of questions has increased. These questions are usually structured. You will be asked diagnosis, enzyme defect, biochemical basis, treatment, and dietary changes. Now, the depth has increased in asking about the importance of biochemical basis. For example, this was our question. Explain 3 mechanisms for increased levels of LDL in type 2A hypercholesterolemia, also called as primary familial hypercholesterolemia. I know your lipid metabolism has not been finished, but I want you to understand that when we were asked this question, we almost all of us were knowing only one answer, that there is LDL receptor defect. But the examiner asked 3 mechanisms. So if we had read in depth that the 3 mechanisms are LDL receptor deficiency, improper attachment of the ApoB with LDL receptor, or improper internalization or improper endocytosis of this receptor complex, then we would be able to write this. So what you have to do now, I would suggest you to make a short notebook, or even in your notes, write for each case, you write the clinical features which will help you in diagnosis, write the enzyme defect, describe in detail the biochemical basis, treatment, and dietary part. So your notes will be ready, and this will help you in solving the clinical cases. You have to be well versed with all the cases given at the backside of Satya. And for such in-depth mechanisms or in-depth biochemical basis questions, I would request you to study all the cases given in Vasudevan. I would not contradict with Paras' point that you use only one book. I would also suggest you that you only study one book completely, but only for this clinical cases part, go through all the cases which are given in different books, because the examiner has read multiple books, and he or she, while designing a question, takes the important points which are given in various books. So for cases, you refer these books and make your notes, which will be comprehensive notes, and at the last moment you don't need to shuffle between the books. There is one case book which comes with Singhal's biochemistry. I would suggest all of you to go through it and prepare all the cases. Next slide, please. Let's take an example of case 1. A baby boy showed the presence of congenital cataract and liver enlargement. Blood levels of galactose were found to be elevated. There was also presence of galactose in urine. First question is, name the probable disorder. Now, I would be very happy if anyone from the participants unmutes and answer this question. Anyone? Or you can type in the chat box. Yeah, the question, which is this case, name the probable disorder. You have to give the diagnosis. And we will be sharing the PDF, so don't worry about it. Yeah, you are correct, Liladhar. It is the case of galactosemia. You also know the deficient enzyme, that is galactose 1-phosphate uridyl transferase. And you would be knowing the biochemical basis also. Like the galactose, it accumulates in the lens, it is converted into the dulcitol, it is reduced basically, and due to the osmotic effects, there is cataract. The important question was asked, why treatment is not required beyond 4 years of age? Now, this was the question most of the students in our batch were not able to answer because this was not mentioned in some of the books, but this is given in Vasudeva. So after 4 years of age, what happens is that galactose 1-phosphate pyrophosphorylase enzyme becomes active, and hence the characteristic features which are seen due to the galactose 1-phosphate are not observed. Okay, next case, please. Yeah, a 33-year-old lady presented with complaints of puffiness of face, slowness in physical activities, irregular menstrual cycles, and overall weight gain since past 5 months. Lab report shows serum free T3, which is less than the normal range, serum free T4, also less than the normal range, serum TSH and cholesterol were elevated. Now, first question is, what is the probable diagnosis? Again, I request if anyone from the participant answers in the chat box or by unmuting, you have to give the probable diagnosis. Yeah, correct. This is hypothyroidism. Now, you know that the probable diagnosis you have told hypothyroidism. The thyroid function tests are also asked. Now, when in such questions, you have to remember already the T3, T4 and serum TSH levels have been given. So you have to write the other tests like the serum protein bound iodine and the radioactive iodine uptake. Amino acid and mineral, you all know, tyrosine amino acid and the mineral is iodine. The second question is important. Justify increased levels of serum cholesterol. Now, in such questions, you have to remember that you study hypothyroidism in physiology also. So you have to link the physiology here. So there should be horizontal integration while you are preparing. What does horizontal integration means? You have at the end of the year, before MEHS exam, you would have completed anatomy, physiology, as well as biochemistry. So you have to link all the 3 subjects. It is not like that this is a biochemistry paper and you cannot write the physiology points here. The examiner will be happy that you have not kept the answer blank and instead written what the relevant physiology point was there. So what would be the answer? Justify increased levels of serum cholesterol. Because there is hypothyroidism, the lipid turnover is decreased and this leads to the increased serum cholesterol level. It's a very easy answer, but you have to link the physiology here. Next slide, please. Now coming to the EdCom, there is only one EdCom 1.4 in the first year biochemistry, the foundation of communication. Important points like what, define communication, what are the types of communication, why, what is the importance of communication. These you should all know, and it's relatively very easy to score this question of EdCom in biochemistry when the other SAQs are confusing or you're not confident. Our question was, briefly discuss the importance of non-verbal communication in doctor-patient relationship. So this was a quite easy question because the other SAQs were quite confusing. So if you have prepared this EdCom well, you can easily write this. So I would suggest you make notes for this topic and refer a day before the exam, because the headings that you will mention in your answer are more important. You highlight that headings, put them in a box, and then explain each heading. Next slide, please. What more you can expect? The other questions that can come this year, you know, now you understand the word describe. Previous slide, please. Yeah. Describe verbal communication, describe non-verbal communication, compare and contrast between verbal and non-verbal communication, describe importance of listening skills, describe effective communication, and describe barriers to effective communication. So we have prepared notes for this topic. We would be sharing the notes with you, and as and when your EdCom lecture is there, I would request you to pay attention and make notes. This would be a good scoring question. With this, I end my part. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prashant. We very well understood that in SAQs, if the question is not structured, we need to structure our answer into introduction, topic, diagrams, and applications. Secondly, in the for clinical aspect, we need to make short notes and write the clinical features, enzyme defects, and biochemical basis for that. And horizontal integration is important in learning. Means I would like to suggest that it is important in every aspect, not only biochemistry. With this, I would like to invite Siddhant Kamre for the session of LAQs in biochemistry.
Thank you, Salil. Am I audible?
Yes, Siddhant, you are audible.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm Siddhant, and let's discuss about LAQs in biochemistry. Next slide, please. So there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. There will be no allotment of marks to different sub-questions. Like one single long question will be asked. It's just like physiology. So basically, you'll be encountering two different type of questions. One would be a straightforward question like, for example, describe the process of translation in eukaryotes. While on the other hand, you can get a question on, suppose, a vitamin, like vitamin D, which we got in our MUHS exam. So that question will be like, describe the RDA, then the sources, then the biochemical functions, deficiency manifestations. So it would be kind of structured, but you won't have the marks allotment like you see in anatomy. So that you need to keep in mind. And you need to make sure you have at least 15 to 20 minutes time for one LAQ, because you would need time for writing the complete answer. Do not keep an answer blank. If you don't know about that particular topic, write at least some related information. And this goes to all your three subjects, basically. And also, you need to keep in mind and do not write irrelevant information because the examiner would not like to see it. And study your biochemistry cycles really well. They will definitely fetch you good marks. Next slide, please. So now let's take an example for an LAQ, regulation of blood glucose level. So basically, this question is a whole chapter in your Satyanarayan, if you would see. So you need to know what you need to write in your answer, because the examiner would not expect a whole chapter and they don't want to read through all the paragraphs or the theoretical things that you're writing an answer. So you need to be well structured while writing. So what all should be written to fetch maximum marks if you get a question like regulation of blood glucose level? So these are certain points that I felt you should include in your answer to get the maximum marks. Start with a short introduction always. Here you can give an introductory statement about the regulation and also write about the absorption of glucose, like the transporters involved, etc. Then you would move to writing about the normal plasma glucose levels. And here this will include your fasting, post-meal, and random. So don't just write one value. You should write all the three values when you're writing the normal levels. Then you would come to sources of blood glucose and its utilization. Like what are the sources from where you're getting glucose in the body and how it is utilized in your body. The next, I feel you should write an overview of effect of hormones, like enumerate which is hypoglycemic, then which all are hyperglycemic. And then one sentence like describe how they exert their effect, basically. The next would be your main hormones that regulate your blood glucose. That would be role of insulin in blood glucose regulation and role of glucagon and epinephrine in regulation of blood glucose. The next would be in short about the regulation of glycogen metabolism and gluconeogenesis, because it is kind of related and related also to your action of glucagon and epinephrine. And next would be glucose utilization in different states. This is an important thing that I think you should include in your answer. That is your well-fed, then the post-absorptive and starvation phases, like what is happening to glucose. And you should always end your answer with applied biochemistry. This is very important and will give you good marks. So please don't miss out on your applied aspect of your answers. And I took this question because it is a very important question and you may encounter it in your exams. It was basically asked many times previously. Next slide, please. So as I went through all the points that you should include, you may feel that that is a lot of information to write. Well, this is what they would expect you to write because it's an LAQ. So you need to know how to present your answer well. I would say keep it pretty simple and avoid cancellations if possible. This is because just to keep your answer neat, the examiner would like to see the paper and the answer neatly written. And try to write in a systematic manner. Do not write in paragraph forms. They don't want to read the chapter again of regulation of blood glucose. They want an answer to the question. Then use simple explanatory diagrams wherever and whenever required. Like diagrams could explain a lot of things, which and also would help to save your time basically, instead of writing all the stuff. Write in point form. This you need to keep in mind that you always need to write in point format and not in paragraphs. And you can include flowcharts wherever it is suitable in your answer. Like if you think you're able to explain the mechanism through a flowchart, draw it instead of writing all the mechanisms in paragraph forms. Next slide, please. So here are some diagrams that you would include in your answer for regulation of blood glucose. So here you can see the blood glucose normal level is mentioned. Then you have the sources of blood glucose and utilization. So after writing about the normal levels, then the sources and utilization, some stuff about all the 3 points, you could add this diagram. So which basically would add to the quality of your answer and also save time, because such things are very easy and quick to draw instead of writing everything. Next slide, please. Here you have the effect of hormones. Like you need to mention all the hormones, like I said, and write in one line about what they do basically to the glucose levels. Then you have this diagram on the left about which would exert your hypoglycemic and hyperglycemic effect with the levels above. Next slide, please. Here you have the role of glucagon and epinephrine. So basically you can draw such a diagram in your paper. And if you feel it is complicated to draw a very big diagram like this, then you can write in flowchart as well, like the mechanism, how glucagon and epinephrine basically acts. Like you could add about the protein kinase A, then the protein phosphatases, and how your blood glucose is regulated by such mechanisms. So basically a diagram and flowchart would really suit your answer instead of writing in theoretical form, basically everything, because they would surely not like to read a chapter and they would definitely get bored by reading your answer. Next slide, please. Here you have glucose utilization in different states, like well-fed, in the post-absorptive starvation, and your extremely prolonged starvation. Basically, what is happening to glucose? How is your body reacting? So I feel this is important to include in your answer to get good marks. Next slide, please, Salim. And when it comes to applied biochemistry, as I said, do not forget to write it. Applied aspect about blood glucose regulation, you can write about the metabolic alterations in diabetes mellitus. You can also include about maturity onset of diabetes in the young. Then you have the glucose tolerance test, the renal threshold, and glycosuria. You can add a point about your glycosylated hemoglobin, HbA1c. And this diagram you can see is the metabolic alteration diagram. So basically, instead of writing everything what happens in diabetes mellitus, you could draw this to mention the mechanisms behind hyperglycemia, ketoacidosis, and hypertriglyceridemia. And this would definitely save your time instead of writing everything. Yeah, next slide. So these are certain tips that I would like to tell you. Use your assignment questions to make ideal answers beforehand. So this is something that I did last year. Like they would give you assignment questions for practice before any of your exams. So please do not complete it just for the sake of submission, Use them, use this opportunity, make ideal answers, because these are the questions that you would encounter in your main exam as well. Exactly same questions, same type. So write ideal answers, use your time for that. And basically you can learn them as well. So not just for the sake of submission, use your time and your resources really well. That's what I feel. And before your MUHS exam, this is definitely for all 3 subjects. Go through all the previously asked questions, see what all was asked, see what you have covered, see what the important topics were, the frequency of questions, and prepare yourself like that. keep reading from your standard books, I would definitely agree with what Paras and Prashant has said. Stick to one book, either Satyanarayan or Vasudevan, and then you can complement it with Rebecca James, which is definitely for quiz level and MCQs. I personally use Satyanarayan, and both books are good, I feel. So just stick to one book. Do not switch between the two constantly. This will bring you in a confused state. Just stick to one book. And these are the YouTube resources basically for you can use for revision. One, I would like to say this channel, Biochemistry by Dr. Rajesh Zambulkar, a very good channel, and you could use his videos for revision. And next, you have our own faculty, Dr. Trupti Ramteke ma'am, her channel, Enjoy Biochemistry, which also has a lot of biochemistry lessons, and they are really, really good. So please check out these resources if you haven't yet. And one more thing I would like to mention is this book, Case-Oriented Approach in Biochemistry by Dr. Zambulkar himself. It's a really short book and basically has more than 50 cases, I believe. And if you happen to have it, then great. You can go through it before your exams or before your quizzes to make sure that you cover all the cases which can be asked in your MUHS exam. Next slide, please. So these were my references for making this PPT. That's all. Best of luck. I hope this helped you.
Thank you, Siddhant. We very well understood that writing specific information and highlighting what is important in biochemistry, and and we also understood how to draw flowcharts and diagrams, and how and making boxes is important as it highlights your answer, and YouTube for revision is a must. And now moving to a broader topic, that is things you should not forget in MBBS life, will be covered by Raghav Paranspe, and I would like to invite Raghav for the same.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Salil. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Raghav.
Okay, so can we go to the first slide? Yeah, so hello guys. We are actually officially done with all the 3 subjects and how to write your paper, how to deal with writing a paper, the various types of questions. And this, as Salil said, is a broader topic. I am still in my second year, so I can't really comment on everything. But whatever I have realized till now, I feel like I would like to share it with you guys. So I'm going to talk about it. The first thing that I read in a book a few years back, and it was this was a very interesting differentiation between these 2 words that you can see. It's stress versus distress. You can call it good stress versus bad stress, or positive stress versus negative stress, whatever you'd like to call it. And just to put it in your mind what it exactly is, we'll go, as your MBBS students, we'll go with an example in MBBS. There is, if you are familiar, when you go to the gym and you will buff up your muscles, you are practically putting stress on your muscles, and that is causing them to undergo hypertrophy, which is causing them to become bigger, and that is your goal. So without putting stress on those muscles, they are not going to grow in size. But if you put too much stress, or what I would like to call it as distress, if you put too much stress, it is going to tear the muscle at the tendon or between the fibers, is just going to tear, and you're going to have a damaged muscle. So that is the difference between stress and distress. The good stress helps you to improve. Whatever you're doing, it will help you to push forward to any challenges that you have. And basically, it's like the first or second gear of a car that will help you climb the hill. You put more stress on your engine and you're going to climb the hill easily. So it's very important that you have some stress on your head, so that you can improve in your life. Next. Salil, next. So does that mean that you should worry? And the answer is no, because worrying is the worst kind of distress that you can put upon yourself. It is voluntary activity. Worrying, it's negative self-imposed stress, as I would like to call it. And the interesting thing is, many of the times that we are worried, it's about the things that we can't control. For example, What if sir asks a difficult question in the viva? What if a difficult question comes in the paper? What if I don't get marks? What if I fail? If you realize none of the things that I mentioned right now are in your hands. What is in your hands is your performance. What is in your hands is how you study. If you study with your full concentration, your dedication and determination, that is all you can control. So that is the only things that you should be worried of, the things that you can control. And negative thoughts, they will always come in their mind. We are normal human beings. We are not some superhuman. We don't have some superhuman brain. So you can get negative thoughts, it's fine. But what I have realized over the 2 years now that almost I'll be in MBBS, that is that you never verbalize these thoughts, because it's a very interesting thing that when you say some false things many times, repeatedly, they will become true. And that's spooky. So never verbalize your negative thoughts, even out of fun or when you're with your friends and गाली दे रहे हम सब लोग एक दूसरे को. Never verbalize your negative thoughts. And you should try and consciously be optimistic, because as Rohit said, you should optimism is a good thing, but everything has its limit. So you should never be over optimistic. You should never aim for 100 marks in your paper, because no one gets them in any course, not just MBBS. But the thing about being optimistic is it sort of is a small inspirational drive from inside within yourself to keep on becoming better. So, but okay, so what should you be optimistic about? Can we next, Salil? Yeah, so what we are worried about the most is marks. And this question is very interesting. Are marks the only or the most important thing in MBBS or anywhere? In fact, in any course up till 12th, we have focused more and more on marks, and we have forgotten that concepts are the more important thing. I'll tell you when marks are important. Marks are only important when you're on the brink of passing. I'm getting 49. I need that. Then I know the importance of that 1 mark. Should I, like, if I get 1 mark, I am passing this subject. So only if you're going to fail by just 1 or 2 marks, then marks are important. But other than that, it is the knowledge, it is the concepts that you learn or that you have to learn that are more important. And there's a difference between knowledge and information. Information is any data that enters your brain. Okay, but when you put your own thought to it, it becomes knowledge. So you should gain as much knowledge as you can, not information. You should gain as much knowledge as you can. Discard the useless information. And when you start studying for knowledge, then you'll realize that the marks will come on their own. Like 3 Idiots, I don't remember exactly that dialogue, but it's similar. So study for the knowledge, study for concepts, and you will get your marks. Okay, and that's a very interesting difference between schools and colleges. We do say that we have a portion in college right now, but at the end of 5 years, there's not going to be any portion. You have to study the whole human body. So as long as you're studying it, as long as you're breaking it down in 5 years, you have to read everything at least once. So know the concepts, know the knowledge. Forget the marks. If you're passing, that's good enough. Okay. So next, it's related. How do you balance getting marks and the joy of learning? Now, when I say joy of learning, many a times it does happen. I don't know if it's happened with you guys. It has happened with me that when I am reading a topic from, let's say, Guyton, and the 3-4 paragraphs I read, and then I just feel sort of a little happy about what I've read, because that author has written that topic so beautifully that I have understood and I'm not going to forget it for the rest of my life. So the joy of learning can be, like, for me, it's this: reading a good para out of one book. It can be anything for you. But when you run behind marks, then everything becomes burdensome. Okay, that when you start, if you're thinking about your marks and you read Guyton, then it's going to be hell. Okay, it's going to be such a burden to read everything, understand all that. But when you change your perspective, then it will help you. So what is the solution to not making Guyton a burden for you. And that is conceptual learning. What our professors teach in their PPTs and what Guyton gives is all about conceptual learning. You have to understand the concepts, because it's the application of those concepts that is going to help you deal with your life after your first year, let me tell you, and second year. So when your concepts are clear, your marks won't matter. Okay. Even if you get 55 out of 100 in any subject, you know yourself that if your concepts are better than these marks, then that's good enough. Okay. Grasp the important concepts and then think about what is expected in exams to write about them. So these guys in the last 3 sessions, even today, have explained what points you should write down. And yeah, remember, it should always be in point form, your answers. So, but you won't realize what points you should learn if you don't know the topic. So what I mean by topic is concept. So if you know the concept, you will know what to write. Okay. It's just a matter of practice. And this very popular IMP list that we all get at the start of our first year, it is an IMP list. Okay. But don't prepare answers for all those questions. Okay. Rather prepare the concepts of those answers. You will be able to write those answers by yourself then. Okay. So again, conceptual learning, that is the most important thing that you can do in any year of MBBS. I feel I'm going to continue doing that. I hope you guys also do that. Okay. Next slide. This is a very important, or let's say it is a very, like I have experienced this with my friends, that they are inquisitive about everything, every single line given in Guyton or in BDC or in Satyanarayan. So that is good. You should be very inquisitive. And in fact, it doesn't have to be a tough question that you get in your mind every time. It can be some small or useless question also. But see that your answers, that you get your answers to these questions. Okay. Never leave them unanswered. Never say that, like if your friend says, ये तो बहुत छोटा सा question है यार, छोड़ दे इसको. नहीं, छोड़ना नहीं है. You at least get the answer, then forget it. Okay. Never leave your doubts unanswered. And there will be times, you're studying a topic and questions will just keep on coming one after the other, linked to each other. And then you'll end up in that loop of questions and you'll be stuck over there. And I have experienced this in 12th standard, in first year. What that will do is, at the end of the day, you will just have wasted your time practically. So see that there are some assumptions in medicine or in any topic that you're studying. There are some assumptions that have been made by great scientists who are 10 times, 100 times better than what we know. Okay. There are some observations that they have made. All you have to do at this moment is accept that, and go ahead. When you go ahead, maybe you'll get the answer on your own. Maybe you won't get the answer, but then when you'll have the luxury of time after your every commitment and everything, then go find the answer. Don't waste your time right now finding answers to questions that even scientists have not found out yet. Okay. So don't forget these doubts. Just right now control, and never ever, if you don't get answers. So please, next. Even if you're not getting answers, never quit. Okay. Yeah. Now this is a very important question with respect to the exams. And what if you fail? What are these consequences? The first thing is, it's a very good thing that MUHS allows you to fail in one subject once a year. Okay. And that literally translates to the fact that you are allowed to fail once. You are allowed to fail. It's okay to fail. Okay. I have myself failed in the second internal assessment of biochemistry last year. It doesn't matter. Okay. I've told this 5-6 times till now. What matters is your conceptual learning. But as I said, you have failed right now. So you're going to be in all your thoughts are going to be sad. They're going to be self-deprecating. What should I do? What's important is, it doesn't matter what people will say about you after you fail. All that matters is what you think about yourself. And that's why you have to inculcate the practice of having only positive thoughts. because 9 out of 10 times you have failed because you didn't study. Now let us look at this in a different perspective. You know the problem, okay, that you failed because you didn't study. You know the solution, and that is you have to study. Or you'll put up an argument that I studied very hard, yet I failed. Study harder. It's as simple as that. It's not easy, but it is simple. Okay, that's the difference between simple and easy. So you know what you have to do. You just have to have the motivation and the inspiration, as Rohit said, to do it. And next, please. As I said, combining these 2 points, should you ever stop? Yes, know when to stop. Know when to stop asking those questions. But should you quit? Never. Okay, next, please. So in the end, what really matters for a doctor is his or her patients. Okay, because whatever we are learning in these 5 years, it's for our patient. It's not for marks. It's not for university. It's not to prove who is better amongst our friends. It is for our patients. So of course you should enhance your academic capacities. How much, as I said, not information but knowledge, how much knowledge you can store in that brain. You should keep on pushing your boundaries, but at the same time you should also enhance your extra academic capabilities. What do I mean by that? From this moment, you should mold yourself in such a way that you become a better person, not just a better student at answering questions, at writing the perfect answers. No, because 6 years afterwards, when you're an intern, 5 years afterwards, no one is going to ask you to write answers. They're going to ask you to save a person's life. So mold yourself in that way, okay, so that you can take better care and treat your patients. What do you require for that? Tenacity, determination, mental stamina, willpower, the presence of your mind, or what I like to call thinking on your feet. Okay, compassion and empathy. So whenever from next year in second year, whenever your postings will start, go and talk to patients randomly, okay, and take their history, interact with them, be compassionate, be empathetic. Because, after 5.5 years, when we all graduate, we have to be better human beings and not bitter human beings. We shouldn't be all complaining about, yeah, 5 years I wasted my life. I've studied so hard, I worked so hard, and I still have to study. No, it doesn't matter, because you're doing this for a greater cause than yourself. It is for other people. It is literally to save other people. So always keep in mind that you have come here not primarily to earn money or to become famous or to become rich. It is to save people's lives. It is to make other people's lives better. So if you remember these few points, I think it is keep, as Rohit said, keep motivating yourself. Okay, when no one else is around you, you have to be your own motivator. You have to be your own inspiration. So keep doing that, and remember these few points, that they will help you as well, I hope. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raghav. You gave us a very good perspective on why learning in a conceptual way is important, and this will definitely give us a different direction while we read our books. And thank you for making our journey of MBBS a more better one than a bitter one. And now moving on to the question answer session, and you can ask questions by unmuting yourself or in the chat box or in the YouTube, the comment section.
Hello.
Yes.
We have our practical exams like after the theory exams, and they are saying that we're gonna have theory papers. So what should we expect? Because practical generally we won't do it. So what should we expect there?
So basically for practicals in online exams, they will give you clinical cases and question based on that clinical cases. So we may share our papers of second internal online exam in the academic group.
So if we study the journal, that will be enough for them, or if it's the theory also along with it.
No, while reading journal, you need to also read about the clinical cases. As question will not be straightforward, there will be clinical cases, and on that you need to do the quantitative and qualitative analysis.
See,
Okay,
in
so
case of see, there will be sub questions. First, you will be given a case, and you have to do quantitative estimation. So you have been taught about quantitative estimation, right? The different creatinine and all this stuff.
yeah, but how
So
will
first,
we do it at home?
no, you don't have to do it, Pura, because they will have a different format. They will give you a clinical case. They'll ask you the method of the case. They won't tell you to perform and all. Obviously, तुमने पास कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे कैसे करोगे perform. So they will give you a case and they will ask sub questions that how much like what is the method of the procedure. जैसा भी किसका नाम था वो जाफिज मेथड था क्रिएटिनिन का ऐसे ऐसे नाम पूछेंगे मेथड का एंड दे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन उसके बाद उसी के केस के बेसिस पे वही क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे एंड दिस विल बी अ फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन देयर विल बी स्पॉट्स में पांच वो होंगे इमेजेस होंगे यू हैव टू राइट 2 पॉइंट्स and then there will be qualitative urine estimation means they'll give you another case chota sa and they'll ask you what is the diagnosis, what test will you perform, what will be positive and all ऐसे ही पूछेंगे ज़्यादा वो डिटेल में नहीं पूछेंगे and it will be easy. Biochem will be easy. Practical हम लोग को एक फॉर्मेट भेजते हैं हम लोग का सेकंड इंटरनल्स का सलील ने बोला ना बहुत वो एक पीडीएफ होगा 5 क्वेश्चन होंगे दे विल गिव यू वैसे ही होगा जैसे तुम लोग का होता है जनरली तो हम लोग भेजते हैं अपने वाला ओके गॉट इट लाइक थोड़ा आया
yeah, got an idea. Thank you.
I would like to add that there will be a photo of a lab report or of a special technique. Means the PDF may be of the special techniques may have been given to you. And lastly, there will be a spot on clinical question. Means there will be a diagram and you need to identify the clinical case.
Anyone else? Any doubts?
Guys, it does not have to be an academic doubt. If you have any doubt related to anything, you can ask us.
Pranav, you don't have to you don't have to draw any structures. खाली नाम चलेगा. You don't मतलब रटने की जरूरत नहीं है. Structures and all won't be asked. कोई नहीं पूछेगा. But just remember the basic like कौन से उससे बन सकता है. कभी कभार पूछते हैं वो लोग ऐसा. एक मेजर जो पार्ट होता है ना स्ट्रक्चर में वो कभी कभार पूछते हैं ऐसा बट अभी रटने मत जाओ उतना. It's okay if you don't study that.
Yes, so I think Salil, you can conclude the meeting.
Yes. So I would like to firstly thank the academic department for giving us a platform to interact. Then I would like to thank the senior and junior academic secretaries and lastly the orators, and lastly to the audience for listening us patiently. And thank you, and we can end the meeting.
Thank you, everyone.